Hey guys, it's Kevin again. It's Thanksgiving 2018, and what a beautiful day to actually share this story with you. I'm going to recount a story that happened when I was 13, my first angelic encounter when I was in the hospital. So essentially the short story is, I'm going to try to keep this short. For those of you who know me, you know my stories can get long, but I will try to keep this as short as possible. So I was 13 and I was in class and I couldn't keep my head up in class. So I was sent to the principal's office to see the nurse. The nurse sent me home. I slept the night and then woke up in the morning with all this gunk in my right eye, washed my face, went back to bed, and then woke up about an hour later to go to school, and everything was fuzzy, like all my vision, like one of those old TVs with antennas, you know, if you got a shady reception, it would look like all the pictures jumbled together. So that's essentially what my vision looked like. So I was calling out for my father, and my father was standing in my room saying, I'm here, I'm here. And I told him, I couldn't see you. I can't see you. So my father comes over and he covers my right eye, and I can see everything perfectly through my left eye. He covers my left eye and everything is black. So immediately we go into panic mode and we got to run to a doctor. So we go to our doctor. The doctor looks at me and asks me if I'm allergic to penicillin and was going to send us home with some penicillin. Luckily, my dad wanted to go get a second opinion, so we did. That doctor dilated my eye and looked inside and saw that the retina was completely eaten away. So needless to say, we went home, grabbed a few things, and went straight to the hospital, USC Estelle Doheny Eye Hospital, the Eye Institute. And there I stayed for a couple months while they probed and poked and prodded and tried to figure out what the heck was going on with my eye. The doctors were confused. They were confounded, actually. They had never seen anything like this before. They said it was some kind of a virus that ate away my retina like that, like literally in record time. So they flew in doctors from every area of my background, from the Middle East, from the Mediterranean, and these are the top doctors, eye doctors. And they came in, and all of them looking inside my eye, and they have never seen anything like this before. I remember one of the doctors tried to console me and say that I'll be in the history books. Not much consolation for a 13-year-old who just lost the vision in his right eye. But needless to say, like, one of the things that I think was my saving grace in that hospital was my faith. So for some reason, I just kept saying, don't worry, guys, God will save my vision. He will save my left eye. God will save my left eye. And it was just like this mantra that I kept repeating. So when I was in the hospital, things were getting more and more grave. They had me on 2 conflicting medicines, and they didn't know which one was actually working. So the doctors, while they're investigating and trying to figure out what's going on with my eye, they noticed that the virus was spreading to the left eye, and unbeknownst to me, they said after it finishes with the left eye, it'll most likely travel across the optic nerve and go to his brain. And if we can't stop it, then we're probably going to lose your son. So I didn't know that information. The family did, however. So me, myself, I just kept that mantra, like, God's going to save my left eye. God's going to save my left eye. Again, I didn't really have a belief in angels or anything. I went to church, you know, once a week and on holidays with my folks, but it wasn't like we were an overly religious family or anything of that nature. I mean, we did pray at night before bed almost every night as kids, but that quickly went away as we got older and older. But I guess what I'd say is I just kept this kind of ignorant faith is the best way for me to describe it. This is how I would share it with my clients, right? I would just say I just kept this ignorant faith. So I was very, very strong for a good portion of the time that I was in the hospital, but then one day I got a lot of bad news. One, that the virus was spreading to the left eye. The second thing was I was going to be held back in 8th grade. And the third thing was I was going to be visited by a childhood crush of mine. And so all of a sudden I was feeling really bad about my life, and I was going to be held back in school, so I was going to be much different. I'm going to look different already. Like, there's just so much that's happening, and I'm going to be held back in school and not know anybody in my grade. And it was just, oh, and I couldn't go to my Washington, D.C., the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. So there was a few pieces of bad news. And so I asked the nurse, the next day, like, are there any tests scheduled or doctors coming today or anything? And nobody was scheduled. No tests were scheduled. So I was basically on my own for the day. And it just turned out that there was a certain period during the day where I didn't have any visitors, because normally there was family coming in and out, or my parents on break from work and what have you. So there was a moment where I was just alone, and I was feeling very, very sorry for myself. Pity party of one. So I decided to pull my curtain and have a cry. My first real cry about like, why is this happening to me? What have I done? What's gonna happen? My life sucks, and just crying, and all of a sudden, I could only guess it was an old lady because it was just sounded like an old sweet voice, started tapping on the drape that I pulled around my bed. And I was in my own room. I had my own hospital room. So I thought it was weird, and I'm like, maybe if I just stay quiet, she'll just go away. So I wiped my tears and like tried to stay quiet, and she wasn't going away. So she kept tapping, and she was like, can I come in? Can I come in? And finally, you got to respect your elders. So I said, okay, yeah, you can come in. So she opens the drape, she sits down on the bed, grabs my hand and starts stroking my hand and telling me, why am I crying? Everything's going to be all right. And I explained to her what's going on. She's got a patch on her left eye. I've got a patch on my right eye. And she's just the sweetest lady telling me everything is going to be fine. God has a plan for you. There's nothing to worry about, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden she has to get up suddenly. So she leaves my hand. She says, I've got to go. She stands up and she starts to walk out. And in that moment, the head doctor of the team of 13 doctors walks into my room, and they walk right past each other. The unique part about this was I asked him while she was still in the room and had just walked past him, I said, what room is that lady in? And he said, what lady? And I said, the lady with the patch over her left eye. She's leaving the room right now. And he turns around to look, and she hadn't fully left the room, but he still couldn't see her. So it was a very interesting moment. I didn't have much time to ponder that because he had to take a look at my left eye, which meant he had to dilate the eye and then look inside. So it was like this whole procedure was about to happen that wasn't scheduled. So it was very interesting. But the doctor figured something out that day that actually helped to save the vision in my left eye. So I consider that to be a miracle. I consider that to be a first angelic visit. Again, these doctors were completely confounded. They had no idea what to do. And then all of a sudden, this old lady comes in telling me that everything's going to be all right and that God has a plan for me. And then she has to leave suddenly, walks past my doctor who doesn't even see her. And I'm in a room all by myself. Anyways, the reason that I share this story is, one, yes, cool. I got visited by an angel. Awesome. Very beautiful thing. But the more important thing is that what I share with my clients, especially those that are dealing with terminal illnesses or grave illnesses, incurable diseases, things of that nature. And the thing that I share with them the most is no matter what your doctors are telling you, no matter what the situation looks like, no matter what is happening around you in your environment, your faith can trump it all. So you basically just have to overcome and rise above the information that you're receiving and stick to the information that you want to believe as true. And don't let any of that other information in. This is what I call an ignorant faith. So you're ignoring the details. Ignorant. You are ignoring the details of your condition, of your prognosis, of your situation. Leave it all alone. An ignorant faith. And the reason that I've come to this conclusion is because this is what I've been told was what actually saved me, was that I kept the faith regardless of what was happening around me. And I already knew that my situation was pretty grave. I didn't know how grave it was. So the beauty about this is I was told that it was the faith that saved my left eye. So it was my faith that I was going to have that vision saved, that it was saved for me. So the message to you guys out there is if you're dealing with something that seems like it's insurmountable or your doctors say it's incurable, please, please, please just keep your faith. Have an ignorant faith. Have a childlike faith that you're going to be fine and that you're going to be healed and that everything is going to turn out all right. All right? I love you guys. It's Thanksgiving. There's so much to be grateful for. So please count your blessings. Hug the people next to you. Say to them that you love them. Share with them that love. It can only help. All right, much love to all of you. We'll talk to you soon.